Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Well, hello, here's Jay. And welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET. I'd get closer to this microphone, but I'm kind of fat, but you know, I think that's okay. 1490 AM KMET, where we contemplate our retirement and how to best prepare for said retirement and how to best stay happily retired. So, today we are going to speak with Benny Resendez. I hope. We're having a little Skype problem, but then again, when don't we? And he is of World Real Estate, and I take it that's where you are today on the world. But we'll be getting to other worlds before it's all over, so hang tight. Because today we will discuss how Chuck Berry met Cthulhu eating cupcakes, competing with the Evil Dead. So hang in there. And as you know, I am not retired, so I need a lot of guests to help us with our answers. So today we're going to get a guest that will help us talk about real estate, or your potential real estate. So we're going to definitely be discussing how to make retirement better, easier, and more productive. Write this number down, 866-955-2233. That's 866-955-2233. Call it right now. I dare you. Go ahead. And I won't answer because I'm on the radio right now. So there. But any other time, so call, email, or visit the website of either www.drheckham.com, and that's just drhecm.com, or theeducatedretirementradio.com. So let me make sure that's right. There it is. And we can talk. And we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about your options in home finance, your options in finance. We can talk about UFOs. We can talk about Bigfoot. No, don't get me confused with Bigfoot. Also about music, movies, anything like that. So you can also, if you want to be the kind of person that just wants to email, and sometimes I'm in the mood for just that myself, the obvious, Best Loan Today, because that's what it is, bestloantoday@gmail.com. Now, my day job is loan officer for the Loan Source. Again, I do only reverse and HECM's home equity conversion. And my NMLS, which is Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System, we each have a number out here, 384465. So which of those two numbers is closest to my age? I think, unfortunately, the 84, but I'd rather it have 38. Anyway, my Department of Real Estate number, and again, I don't sell real estate, but I do have a license. And I use that license in the lending, 792-630. I need those questions of yours. Remember, we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We are not going to abuse your information. I'm not going to keep bugging you. I will ask your permission, however, if I can send you some videos on a regular basis. And speaking of videos, you know I do have a YouTube channel with all of the shows. So what I do is I put the complete show on YouTube. Then I take the good part of the show, just speaking with the guests. I put that on YouTube. And then I also put just my part separately if you want to waste some more time. And then sometimes some humorous little snippets and things, I put that there too. So go to my site, as we've said and we'll say a million times, so I don't need to repeat it right now. It's also on the screen, or it will be. Roll down to YouTube channel, and it pops out, and you can subscribe to your heart's content, and mine too. So as you know, we do this, we want to challenge the status quo, and we all need to be active, not reactive. And today is, and my wife doesn't have any of these for me, but today is National Chocolate Cupcake Day. No other flavors, please. It's National Chocolate Cupcake Day. Now, I thought this was pretty interesting, actually. Originally, cupcakes were cooked in teacups. Therefore, the name cupcake. So figure that one out. The record, which is not mine, 29 chocolate cupcakes were consumed, or downed, as they would say, in 30 seconds. So I'm sure that's to be proud of, but it ain't me. I'm too skinny for that. Now, also, speaking of, this is the literary connection of cupcakes to literature. H.P. Lovecraft. And I don't know, Sean, do you know H.P. Lovecraft?
I have heard that name, yes.
Well, actually, there was a rock group by that name, but it is. Here's one of the books written about his stories, not his stories. And there's H.P. credited the creation of Cthulhu. There's a picture of Cthulhu in case you know, it's kind of looks a lot like me. There he is. On cupcakes. So what he did was he locked himself in a basement with cupcakes and ate till the sugar high caused him to hallucinate, which reminds me, we're talking medical. I forgot my stethoscope. The other thing I forgot to talk about last week, remember the, what do you call it? It came from beneath the sea. If you saw that, remember, it was a stethoscope that reminded one of the patients who survived an attack about what that actually was. So now I'm equipped. Okay, so the first story of the Cthulhu mythos, because there was a lot of stories surrounding that, was published in Weird Tales in 1928. This is the first Lovecraft book I ever bought, and you can see I've read it a few times. It's a bit worn down, okay, but I've got everything he ever wrote and read it a few times. And here's a fancy book with Lovecraft, and there's a picture of him, okay, of the Mensch himself. Now, so we're going to give it a break. Now, that first showed up in Weird Tales in 1928. So speaking of weird, we're back to talking about me again, and I'm going to give it a break so that you have a break. See you in a minute. Now you're talking. Who is that, Sean?
I'm really not sure on that one, actually.
Why not? Well, sounds good to me, though. You got good taste. Sean, of course, who I talk to every now and then because he's the only person that actually lets me talk to him, is our engineer, who we always try to thank because we wouldn't have a show without Sean. Take a bow, Sean. There you go. All right. So we are here on www.theeducatedretirementradio.com. You are listening or watching on 1490 KMET AM radio, worldwide podcast and video cast, also known as the Mighty Met. And me, I am the Educated Retirement Radio.com, shorter version, DRHECM, Dr. Heckham. Heckham stands for Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, but I like to think of it more as a program than a mortgage, so call me. 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. We also have a call-in number, and Sean puts that on the screen every once in a while, and I will repeat it. I'll repeat it when I start the last section, because that's when we really want, our guests to talk to people if or when they want to. So we always talk about birthdays. Today is George C. Scott's birthday, and he popped out in 1927 and popped out of existence that we know, because according to Lovecraft, there's lots of parallel universes and things we live with. 1927 to 1999, and of course, many, many movies. Anatomy of a Murder, which I got around here somewhere. He was nominated for Best Actor on that one. Now, to me, my favorite performance of his was a comic one in Dr. Strangelove. I'm not sure if Dr. Strangelove won anything, but it was brilliant. It was amazing. And we have another video disc here. And I thought he should have won the Academy Award. I thought he stole the show, even though, what's his name? Peter Sellers had 3 different roles in that. But he did win for Patton. And he refused the award, kind of like me. I refused the award for best looking guy on Earth out of philosophical reasons. You kind of got to agree with him, but then again, anyway. He refused the Oscar, saying that each performance was unique and could not be compared to others. Again, that's true, but this world wants to compare everything to everything else. Like I compare reverse mortgage to other loans and know without question which one is better. And of course the reverse is. Now, he also did a television debut for a show it was the DuPont Show of the Month. So instead of having, you watch one of these like History Channel or whatever, they don't only have one show once a month. They have one show 24 hours. Anyway, DuPont Show of the Month, and that was A Tale of Two Cities in 1952. He was also in Naked City, this is on television, Naked City, The Virginian, and then, of course, his towering performances in the Ben Casey Show. Now I'm going to show you something. If I could find a way to show this every time I'm on the air, I would. I mean, I've got records of Spock and William Shatner, singing, and Kathleen, what's the guy singing Calypso? No, not Belafonte. The guy that was, the guy that was in all those film noir. I don't know.
Mitchum.
Yeah, Robert Mitchum singing Calypso songs, and boy, he's a great actor. But no, here it is. I get so excited to be able to show that. So, Bruce, my friend, I hope he's watching this. All right. So, Klaus Kinski. Now, Klaus Kinski was a great actor. He jumped in 1926 and he jumped out in 1991 and did over 130 films. So I don't know if you're aware, but he did a lot of work with Werner Herzog, who is still, well, he's making mostly documentaries these days, but he's still going strong and always been considered a great director. But Kinski lived in the same boarding house back in 1955 with a 13-year-old Werner Herzog. So of some of their movies, Nosferatu, the Vampire, 1979. And there you go. Great music, too. Let's talk about the guy that did the music. I think I have already, but another. Anyway, that's a very good, because we talked about other vampire movies a bit ago. So another one of the Herzog films was Fitzcarraldo, and I got that around here somewhere, but I couldn't find it. That came out in 1982, and that was about the building of the Opera House in Manaus. And for those of us that may not know or are too young, Manaus is on the Amazon River, and it was the richest city on Earth in the 1920s, and had to do with rubber. And I mean, it was like the Paris of this hemisphere. It was, supposedly even richer than Paris, London, New York, and the whole thing. But it's a little bit different. It really got run down. I think they're building it up again. And I'm happy for that. It's on my bucket list, but, so are a lot of other things. He also did For a Few Dollars More, which is a little bit different. Chuck Berry was also born on this day in 1926. And he rock and rolled out in 2017. Now, he is known as the father of rock and roll. And Johnny B. Good, which I don't think I have to sing, I would, but I think most everybody knows it, was on the Voyager Golden Record that's now out of the solar system and going on to alien nations. So, that song, by the way, was also featured in Back to the Future, the first one. And just so you know, because this is going to happen before the next show, very important, October 21st is called Back to the Future Day, because in Back to the Future 2, McFly traveled into the future, and the date that he traveled to was October 21st, 2015. So, did you know that Chuck Berry was originally trained as a hairdresser? He also worked as a freelance photographer and was influenced by Nat King Cole and Muddy Waters. Excuse me, before I muddy these waters up too much, I better throw it back to Sean for another well-timed break. So thanks, and be back in a minute.
KMET 1490 AM.
More good stuff. All right, Sean, you want to tell us who that was? Or do you know?
That was
You don't have to
the
know.
Aristocrats.
Oh, okay, because you got good taste. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's that's a three-man trio, actually.
Oh, all right. And, on this day in history, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but this is the day that the movie West Side Story premiered. And it was released on this day in 1961. We also spoke briefly about why Spielberg is redoing it. I think the real reason was money. There's a new generation, and they want to show it again. But I guess I heard from a client of mine who does play timpani that since the original movie was not based on the stage play, that now they're going to do it based on the stage play. And I can't imagine there being any big differences there at all. So speaking of big time, now we're going to get into the real classics instead of this little West Side Story stuff. Okay, and West Side Story was on TV just the other night, by the way, but this is big time cinema. Evil Dead premiered in 1981, and look at this. Is this cool or what? That's a DVD rendition of it, and look at this. It's got the Book of the Dead, which, if you've seen this, you know quite a bit more about this. I won't go through every page or whatever, but it's pretty cool. And it's quite the present. Oh, there's an ear, because this does make noise. But it's a pretty cool presentation, and something you cannot get on a digital download. So, look at that. What do you think? Anyway, that's that. Now, Sam Raimi, as you may recall, he did Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 3 was really, had a different name also, and that was with who, Kathleen? My wife. The guy that we...
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. See, I can never remember names. Faces, yes. And Bruce Campbell had a lucky Oldsmobile. I think it was a 54 or 57 Oldsmobile. And it was in every one of those movies, and is probably in most all of the Sam Raimi films also. Even, he did the first round of Spider-Man, and the car was in there also. Now, Sam says that he was inspired by William Castle. And William Castle did House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. The Tingler, also with Vincent Price. 13 Ghosts, which is along with House on Haunted Hill, has been done a couple of times. Straight Jacket with Joan Crawford. He did a couple with Joan Crawford, bringing her late career back to life. Back to life, that's a supernatural thing like that. He also got the rights to Rosemary's Baby, wanted to direct it, but for the kind of budget it needed, he was not going to get the money if he actually directed it, so you know what happened there. Matinee is a great film, I think. It was directed by Joe Dante, and he wasn't given William Castle's name, but it's so obvious that this was a story about William Castle, and he was played by John Goodman. It was an absolute wonderful kind of thing. And, it was set around the fears, it was set around the Cuban Missile Crisis, but was it a comedy? Absolutely. So we're going to let it go with that comedy, and we're going to let it go for a short break, and then we'll come back with our guests. So take care of yourself, everybody, and see you in a minute.
KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Wow, now you're talking. Well, you got some cowboy stuff going on, huh?
A little
nice.
heart. A little heart.
A little, my wife loves heart. I've been accused of not having any, but you still like heart, right, Kathleen?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know if anybody can hear her. She may have to be the guest because my other guest apparently is ill and can't talk. He lost his voice. And, of course, I lost my sense, my total abilities years ago. So, and I'm still doing okay, but so be it. But my wife doesn't want to be seen. So if she's going to be talking with us, she'll be out of the scene, okay? She was on, when we were in Denver, she actually was on camera, but that's just not going to happen anymore. Now, maybe I can shame her. I can give a real, exaggerated description, and she'll have to come on screen just to prove it's not true. But usually if it's by mistake, she has to walk by. She puts a towel over her head, which I know is something that most people who watch this show would rather I do every time. But while we're waiting, let's see. I think you remember a week ago or so, we talked about Musso and Frank. So I'm going to be commercial time here for just 2 minutes, I think. So remember, none of this I'm talking about here is specific because everybody is a bit different. So there are 2 dining rooms at Musso and Frank's, and let's say that each one holds exactly 10,000 people. I think that's probably a little big. That's 20,000 people drinking martinis. Might be a little exciting. Okay, all 10,000 in both of these have a I'm going to really underline theoretical, because this has not happened. This is a study. And the study was done by 2 different entities. One was Fidelity Investments. The other one was from members of the American College of Financial Studies, together with people like Barry Sachs and his brother, whatever. Okay, each of the 20,000 portfolios, and I think I've told you before, I have a big, fat portfolio. Mine, however, is full of pictures rather than investments. So each of the 20,000 portfolios has a 60-40 split of stocks to bonds. And given in these theoretical investments, which we're going to call these models Monte Carlos, which I think, to somebody that's not a big-time person like me, Monte Carlo just means the place I fell asleep on the beach in 1969, but it is a specific, it's a specific set of circumstances that put together a snapshot look, or over time, a simulation. Okay, I think it's called Monte Carlo because it came from the military, but so be it. In any case, these Monte Carlo simulations all lasted for 30 years, okay? And nothing ever changed in any of them. Remember, these are theoretical only. So, but they did put in what happened over a 30-year period as far as the stock market is concerned. And they had all of these had various amounts of cash or funds in them. So after the 30 years of the two groups, the 10,000 in the room where everyone had a reverse mortgage, in that room, more than 80% of them came out with a much larger, not just larger, much larger legacy than those in the room of 10,000 with no reverse. Now, you need to know why they came up with that, and that just has to do with the protective properties of the new reverse mortgage rules and why it exists today to keep both retired people, older people, not to mention the government, in the black, as it were, and healthy, at least financially, and as far as having health and health issues to be able to deal with them. So you need to learn more. So let me send you a short video to watch. Watch at your own pace. Take your time to learn. Remember that this represented simulations and existed only in a computer and advisor's head. So you're different and you have different specifics. Get those specifics and keep them for you. So I'm not sure if I did let everybody know we're here at KMET 1490 AM. And like Sean would say, I'm going to try to say the phone number, the off-air number, 951-922-3532. Does that sound like you, Sean?
No, but that's good enough, though.
Okay.
That works.
All right. How about the on-air number? Why don't you give that one?
The on-air number, let's see. That's the 866, the 866 number?
Yeah.
Oh, that's 866 955 2233.
All right. And so what we're going to talk about here now is facts about old people. I had written down old people, and then I saw the word that starts with F for facts, and I was about to say something else, but Sean would not have liked it. Okay, do you know that it's been 48 years since Ed Sullivan has been off the air? Now, Kathleen, do you remember watching Ed Sullivan?
Of course.
Speak up.
Of course.
And did your parents let you stay up, or were you already old enough?
No, they let me stay up.
They did?
Yeah.
And it was on Sunday nights, I think, right?
Yeah. And I specifically remember watching the Beatles.
Oh, the Beatles.
Ed Sullivan show.
More than anything, I remember plates being on long sticks being, twirled around. And I remember that guy with the hand. Remember the hand? Popo Gijo, yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that I thought was amazing, and I kind of forgot about it until I saw somebody on South Park, the cartoon thing, doing it, and that was great. So, Corvette turned 66 this year, and I don't have any Corvette stories. Michael Jackson video is 36 years old today.
The Thriller.
Yeah, Thriller. Now, do you have any recollection of Thriller?
The video? Sure.
Yeah.
I liked it.
A lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, and anything connected with having watched it?
Vincent Price read an excerpt
Hold on a
from
second. I'm gonna
The Raven, I think, right?
Hold on, you're hearing some noise because I'm changing the configuration of the microphone so Kathleen's voice can come in a little easier. So say that again.
I believe Vincent Price read an excerpt from The Raven, I think was the name of the story during the video of the Thriller.
Okay.
Yeah?
That beats me.
Yeah.
So there's for Michael Jackson. Now, Kathleen and I, Kathleen, my wife, we drove by Neverland Ranch about 7 or 8 months ago,
Yeah.
and we didn't see anything.
No.
So, but we're old and curious, so yeah, we went and did that. So, how about some older people? There's me. I'm 73. I'm not going to ask Kathleen how old she is. Clint Eastwood. Anybody want to guess? Sean, how old do you think he is?
85.
You're very close. 89. And Jack Nicholson is... You're on.
I would guess about the same.
Actually, he's 82. And Jack Nicholson, as we know and have discussed, got his start from Roger Corman. And I think, Sean, you had said it's okay if I say that on the radio that I did a #1 next to Roger Corman.
Yes, that's fine.
At the Egyptian Theater a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we've heard that many times.
Yeah, my wife gets tired of the same old stories, But what else? You get old, you got to have the same old stories. Now, speaking of old, here's another one. Kurt Douglas. Any guess for him? Now, he had a stroke, so he doesn't speak very well.
I'll guess he's in his 90s, 91.
102.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's older than I am. I mean, I got 30 more years, to get there.
What was the name of that movie that he was in years ago? It was black and white, and he was a reporter, and they were reporting.
Ace in the Hole?
Yes.
The one, that was good. That was a strange one. That's where this poor guy was in a mine, and they were trying to get him out. And
Yes.
Kirk Douglas was a washed-up reporter, and he got the deal. And he prevented the rescue so that he could get the story.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, and of course the guy died because of it, but he did get the story. All right, Sean Connery is just a kid, 89. And here's another oldie, Betty White.
Oh,
Sean, what
she's
do you
definitely
think?
in her 90s.
97. 97 years old.
I don't know. She seems like she goes strong. I mean, even now.
I know. And what do you remember from Betty White? What was that show she was in?
Wasn't she in the Mary Tyler Moore show, where Mary Tyler Moore was the reporter?
No, I don't know.
She was with the four ladies. I forget her name.
Yeah, there's the one with the 4 older ladies, right?
Yeah. Gosh.
Betty White wasn't in that, I don't think.
Well, we got an argument now.
That's
We're
the
gonna
Golden Girls.
look it up. You got your phone is going now. Look up what Betty White was in on TV. And she was Christopher Plummer. Did you see him lately? And you remember he took over the job of Getty at the last minute. Played J. Paul Getty in that movie about the kidnapping of his son.
I did not see that, no.
Oh, she was in the Golden Girls.
Yeah, she was in the Golden Girls. You were right again.
Sorry.
My wife apologizes.
And Mary Tyler Moore show.
And the Mary Tyler Moore show. What was that called? Just the Mary Tyler Moore show?
Yeah.
All right. How about Carl Reiner? Carl Reiner is
92.
Kathleen,
97 years old.
97 years old. So, Sean, how's the microphone doing in this new configuration? I have it running right, front and back.
It's okay. We can hear okay.
Okay. Olivia de Havilland. Now, she had a sister, right? Who is
Yes.
gone. So I get them mixed up.
Right.
Now, wasn't one of them in Robin Hood?
Yes,
And which one was that?
I have to check. I think it's Olivia de Havilland.
And what's her sister's name?
Right. Olivia de Havilland was in The Adventures of Robin Hood.
Yeah, okay.
And Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte.
Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. Yeah, we're
So,
talking about oldies
her
going back and
sister-
renewing their careers in horror movies. And what, the sister?
I'm looking. Joan Fontaine,
Oh.
who was in Rebecca.
Now, Joan Fontaine, much different name, but sister, huh?
Right.
Joan Fontaine was in one of mine, and I think Kathleen's also favorite Hitchcock films,
Yes.
Rebecca.
Rebecca.
So, have you seen Rebecca, Sean?
No, I have not seen that one. What is that one?
Highly recommended. It's very strange. It was, I believe, it was the first film Hitchcock did in this country, and
Yes,
he
you're
did-
right. First American
yeah,
project.
first American film, and that was under
David O. Selznick.
David O. Selznick. So he and Selznick got into lots of arguments over it, and it's dark, it's kind of strange, and it has a real surprise ending. So I would really stick it up there as a recommendation. Other than that, North by Northwest may be the most entertaining, and Vertigo may just be the best, certainly the most personal of his. And I think I mentioned I was about to say that my son and I, two Tuesdays ago, went to see Psycho, which is not about me. And American Psycho, that was a good movie too. Remember? Anyway, Psycho, we saw Psycho in the theater, and believe it or not, I know this part's going to be very, very hard to believe. I'm actually too young to have seen Psycho in the theater. I remember in Detroit, I was in a car and we were driving by a theater that had Psycho playing in it. And I remember seeing the line going around the block and wanting to go see it, but that was not possible for a little kid like me.
So
Yeah,
Jay,
Psycho
tell me,
was done in 1960.
What's that?
are you going to see this new sequel to The Shining that's coming out?
Yeah, but I'm trying to find out more information about it. Remember that great show I had about whether we landed on the moon in The Shining?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And of course, Kubrick is one of my well, we showed a Kubrick film earlier today when we showed the Doctor Strangelove thing. But yeah, I'm sure I will.
I'm actually
sure
hearing
I
some good things about it so far.
Oh, good. Wow. Now,
Uh,
last Tuesday, my son, Shane, not to be confused with Sean, but if I ever call you Shane, that's why. We went to see Alien on the big screen. And Alien, I just love that movie. I also love, Blade Runner, which was the other one. But this guy from, Turner Classic Movies, he's on Mankiewicz. He's on the screen telling us about this science fiction movie. And this is not a science fiction movie. This is a horror film confined to a spaceship. I mean, there's nothing science fiction really about it except for its setting, but so be it. Some people, whatever. But I looked at my watch, and the first scene where the chest buster, they call it, where it comes out of his stomach or chest. You know that, right, Sean?
yeah, his little friend.
Yeah, his little friend. I looked at my watch when we saw Psycho, and it was always in my mind that it was really close to the beginning, the shower scene. But you know what? It isn't. It's close to the middle. And I was always thinking, I mean, I've seen some of these movies like 100 times, and I was looking at at Alien, and I was thinking it was the same kind of thing. The chest buster happens right near the beginning, but you know what? It doesn't. It's like placed almost the same as the shower scene in Psycho. So I think he may have learned a whole lot of that from Hitchcock, or, that is the magic formula for that. So, and now, next Tuesday, we've got tickets for Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, that movie is in a different category than Psycho or Alien, but it's so much fun. Have you seen that one?
I
Sean?
have. I remember seeing that as a little kid in 3D in the theater.
Oh,
My God, it was so
I've
awesome.
never seen it in 3D, and of course, this theater, it's a Cinépolis theater where you can drink tequila and all that while you're in your big cushy lean back chairs.
Different kind of 3D.
And it's not going to be in 3D, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was awesome, I tell you.
I know, but I love that one, and the other two. I think there were 3 Lagoon. Kathleen, what are the 3 Creature from the Black Lagoon movies? I think Clint Eastwood was I think in number 2 or something.
Yeah.
He played a lab technician, which may have been his first ever. But there's The Creature Returns. I think there's another creature or something, right? Okay, my wife is going to be looking that
There's
up.
Creature from the Black Lagoon 2.
Oh, yeah, but you know the name of the other one?
Revenge of the Creature.
Revenge of the Creature
That's number 2.
is number 2. Revenge of the Creature. And number 3 is...
Let me see.
And we met one of the 2 people that played the creature. One played the creature underwater, and another one played the creature above water. And we met him at a place called Monsters in Motion, where we got a bunch of models and things that I've shown. All right, Kathleen, you have 1 minute
The
to...
Creature Walks Among Us.
The Creature Walks Among Us is number 3, as Jay talks among us here. And remember, please, think about things. Give me a call, all right? Call me, look me up at Dr. Heckham, drhecm.com. Take a look at the YouTube channel. Text me at, not text me, I mean, you can always text me, but you can email me, bestloantoday@gmail.com. And with that, I want to remind you of that joke we talked about a long time ago. My boss told me to have a good day, so I went home. And I'm about to do the same. And Sean, thank you very, very much. Kathleen, thank you for helping out. And everybody else, most of all, thank you for listening and watching. And Kaplan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store next week. Have a...
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show.